The reason why school choice is so significant to me is because I think we're dealing with a structural systemic issue. When you look at my story and you think about who I am, I like to say I should have been a statistic because I couldn't pass the SAT. The SAT at the time required an 860. I didn't score over an 800 until my fourth time. And the reason why is because I couldn't read. And I get to Gardner-Webb University, and as a freshman, I was the freshman of the year in the conference, but I got 5 Fs in school. After 3 semesters, I had a .67 GPA. And so I failed out of school. I came home and I said to my dad, I said, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. He said, well, I don't know what you're gonna do either. Your name is Robertson. And what we start, we finish. A bishop from North Carolina called me. Said, man, whatever you're doing right now, you're about to ruin your entire life, aren't you? And this bishop begged me. He said, man, move back down here to North Carolina and we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what to do next. So I moved back down there, and the first day I was down there, he took me to Cleveland Area Community College in Shelby, North Carolina. And he enrolled himself and myself in school. He inconvenienced his entire life to give me a chance. The first week in school, he said, man, you can't read. He was the first educator in my life to point out that I couldn't read. And by the 5th game of the year, I was the #1 D-back in the country. You're looking at someone now who has a bachelor's degree in business and has a master's degree in divinity. But at one point, I was that student that I remember when I was in 7th grade, my principal telling my parents, if he doesn't make it to the NFL, he can't learn. I don't know what you're gonna do with him. But it took someone inconveniencing their entire life to give me a chance. Instead of waiting till kids come out of jail or instead of waiting till they mess up a Division I scholarship like me, at 19, we should be doing this for kids at 9. So fast forward, 2018, we started church, the Rock Church. And we're doing well. Okay, what are we gonna do in the community? We started an after-school program. We started a food pantry. 2020 hits. Now we are in the pandemic. I begin to get calls from parents, 30 to 40 a day. Can my kids come there during the day? No, we're not a daycare. What are you talking about? No. What am I gonna do? I said, well, I have all these kids who parents want to come to my church during the day, and they're on, online for their curriculum and instruction. I'm like, man, she was the after school counselor. I'm like, man, she could do that all day. And that'd be a way to sustain her work and also help these parents who needed an outlet for their kids. And then that next summer, somebody called me and said, do you have room for after school program? Absolutely, we do. I share with this gentleman what we had done this last year, having this in-person learning guide oversee the academic day for these 5 or 6 students. He said, do you want to do it on a bigger scale? He said, I may know some friends who can help you. I said, yes, absolutely. So we formed in our church, the Rock City Learning Center. And we started with 9 children, and I hired members of my church to oversee their academic day. At the end of that year, we ended with 30 students. 29 out of the 30 students were failing when they came to us. At the end of the year, 22 out of the 30 finished on the honor roll. Second year, 51% of our students finished above a 90% GPA. Once we started expanding, we didn't have a student finish the year under a 71%. It's amazing how they come to us with all of these behavioral problems, all of these academic problems, and a change of scenery. These children who came to us who were a terror in their last school, who were IEPs in their last school, now come to us and they're thriving. When you surround our kids around people who are willing to walk in a room and say, you know what? Every kid in here is going to succeed. Every kid in here is smart. Every kid in here, we have a high standard. And you'd be shocked at, watch this, you can put the standard here, the kid reaches it, and then you lift the standard and the kid wants to reach the next one. You'd be surprised how the kids hold each other accountable for having good grades and want to excel and do well. And this is why it brought me to this issue of school choice, because how do you start, sustain, and scale these opportunities? And so it began to make me think, okay, well, how is education paid for? Well, in Pennsylvania, The average per pupil spending for our kid is $24,000 a year. How can we tap into that $24,000 a year? Parents who are on the margins don't have the ability to just move to another district where the school suits their kids. If you are a certain level of income, if you have a certain level of income, the reality, if the state does not have school choice laws, is this is what we're saying. You go to that school and we'll figure it out. It may take us 30 years, but we'll figure it out. Maybe third year of your prison sentence, we'll have it figured out. We don't have time for people to figure it out. If you don't see a future for yourself and you don't have any value of life and you haven't been taught how to manage in this world today, of course you're not going to make the right decisions. School choice is the answer. I think that every church in America can be a part of the solution. Let me start with our summer enrichment program. For that summer, we had 7 kids from our neighborhood who literally we just incentivized work here at the church instead of selling drugs. Imagine if you incentivize them again, not be a part of the street economy, but to create an economy for them to participate in your local church. The reality is, although I'm able to sit here and boast to you about the academic achievement of our students, when you peel back the layer, guess what? Many of them can't read at grade level. And many of them can't do math at grade level. But we need more help than just a Band-Aid. And this is the thing we were talking about at our table. I think we need to make a pivot towards establishing private Christian schools in churches. Number one, there's no shortage of real estate that can be leveraged rightly to do this. Number two, it's not just about education in the sense of academics. Who teaches you how to be a husband, how to be a father, how to be a wife, how to be a mother? Who teaches you how to be a person of character and of morals and of ethics? And I wholeheartedly believe that the church has to reclaim our real legacy of not just worshiping on Sunday and leaving buildings open Monday through Friday. We need to be using our building all throughout the week to educate our kids. Amen. This is a crisis. Because now is not the time to say this is right and this is wrong. No, now is the time to say these United States, as it relates to education, is in crisis, and we need robust offerings and options for our kids. We need to stop competing in the toilet bowl. Our children are not doing well in our current systems. And guess what? You don't have to be a public school hater to be an advocate for school choice. We're in America. We're in a country that knows how to be creative. We're in a country that knows how to be industrious. We're in a country that knows how to innovate. There's a reason why we are the United States of America. But I don't think we're being very American when it comes to education. God knows if you don't want McDonald's, there's a Chick-fil-A somewhere by. If you don't want one hospital, they do you wrong, you can go to another one. But if you are a certain level of poor, that's where you go. That's so un-American. And so I wholeheartedly believe that now is the time to put parents before politics. Now is the time to put students before systems. Now is the time to use our creative genius and ingenuity to build schools. Can you imagine what Mississippi could be like if we trained our students to continue the legacy of the industries that you have here 30 years from now? When we can't do it the same way we're doing it now. Have we invested into that next generation? Have we prepared them to be global collaborators and global competitors? Are we preparing the next generation not to just survive? We are America. We should be looking to thrive. And I think school choice is how we get there. At some point, we got to break the model that currently exists and unlock the potential for our children.